Shalom to the elect of Israel, to the whole flock of Israel. You Hebrew Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, West Indians, and Haitians. Let us give all praises and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shah. The Most High, the Heavenly Father, his Hebrew name is Yahweh. Not Yahweh, not Jehovah, not God, not Elohim, not Mosai, not Lord, not Yah, not Jah, not Ahai, not Allah. It's Yahweh, and his only begotten Son name in the Hebrew is Yahweh Shah. Not Yahshua, not Yeshua, not Jesus Christos, not Jesus Christ, not Serapis Christos, not Yeshaya, not Yehoshua. It's Yahweh Shah. So we got to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shah, Bahashem Rikah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elder bishops and elders of Great Millstone who rule well, who teach well, both apostles and elders of all of Israel, ready to accept it or not. And the sincere salutation to all the Akim pushing this truth and believing this truth, but the four winds of the earth, the entire world, waking up the hope for the leg. And shalom to the Awal who are listening, learning, you sisters who are listening. I'm Isaiah from Jim Masolano, coming to the lesson of truth, facts, faith, and application. On the daily application, Lord willing, is be edified. So I title this lesson, Take Part in Building the Lord's House, or Your House Will Be Destroyed. And this is pertaining to the building of the Lord, which is, this applies to the men first and foremost, and also to you few sisters out there, man. Take part in building the Lord's house, or your house will be destroyed. And for the men, this is to the highways and hedges, and doing lessons on the unicorn. For you women, if you know how to sew, make garments. Whether you charging the brothers for garments or you making them for free, whatever it is, help brothers, whatever. This is to the men first and foremost, and to the women. But take part in building of the Lord's house. So let me get these precepts first. This is 1 Corinthians 3 and 16. It reads, see, 2/3 of our people is one about carnal things, because Esau have taught us, Esau have brainwashed us over these hundreds of years to be carnal minded, to chase the bag. As we say time and time again, this devil taught us to get the money first and everything else will be added. What the Lord say, seek ye first the kingdom of heaven and his righteousness, and everything else will be added. Well, we know Esau is total opposite of Yahweh Shema Shai, as I tell you in 2 Thessalonians 2 and 4. So this devil taught us to get the money by any means, whether you getting your associates, your masters, your bachelors, right? Your PhD, whatever. Chase the bag first, and everything else will be added. Well, the Lord say, get this wisdom, knowledge, understanding, and everything else will be added. So the Lord talks about building up your house, which is your body, your spirit, your temple, which is the Lord. So I'm going to start here. 1 Corinthians 3 and 16, it reads, know ye not that ye are the temple of God, and that the Spirit of God dwelleth in you? If any man defile the temple of God, him shall God destroy, for the temple of God is holy, which means to be separate, which temple ye are, right? This 1 Corinthians 6 and 19. What? Know ye not that your body is the temple of the Holy Spirit, which is in you, which ye have of God, and ye are not your own? For you are bought with a price, therefore glorify God in your body and in your spirit, which are God's, right? So there's another one in 2 Corinthians 6 and 16. It reads, and what agreement have the temple of God with idols. For ye are the temple of the living God, as God hath said, I will dwell in them and walk in them, and I will be their God, and they shall be my people. So our body is the Lord's temple. Now let's get these. This is First Peter 2:5. It reads, Ye also as lively stones are built up a spiritual house and holy priesthood to offer up spiritual sacrifices acceptable to God by Yahweh Shah Mashiach. So while two-thirds is trying to build their house, the hopeful elect is focused on the Lord's house, which I'm going to read. This is, let's get this, 1 Corinthians 3 and verse 9 it reads, For we are laborers together with God. You are God's husbandry. You are God's building, right? It's a spiritual house being built. And starting first and foremost with the men, we're supposed to be building the Lord's house. And the women, we both have our lot in building on the Lord's house. Now, this is Ecclesiastes 27:3. It reads, Unless a man hold himself diligently in the fear of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, his house shall soon be overthrown. What is it talking about? Your mind, your spirit, your temple, which is the Lord's. Ecclesiastes 27:3. Unless a man hold himself diligently in the fear of the Lord, his house shall soon be overthrown, which is your spirit, your mind, right? This second Ezra 14. This is about, this is not about us, man. This is about building the Lord's house. So our two-thirds of Jake, as the scriptures say, they eating, marrying, buying, planting, selling, building. The Lord say, build his house, that we may have a covering in the day of Jacob's trouble. Second Ezra 14 and 13. Now therefore set thine house in order and reprove thy people, dealing with the men, right? We supposed to set our mindset in order according to the ways of Yahweh Shema Shah. Now therefore set thine house in order and reprove thy people, comfort such of them as be in trouble and now renounce corruption. If you running to build your own house, you don't got no time to build up, right? This is Galatians 6 and 1. That's why, as the apostles taught us, this is for the hope. That's why we say the hopeful elect. This is why we was taught to use the words hopeful elect, man. Because only the hopeful elect is going to do these things. Galatians 6 and 1. Brethren, if a man be overtaken in a fault, which we all was in plantation Christianity, whatever branch of religion it was, Baptist, Methodist, Pentecostal, Jehovah Witness, Protestant, it don't matter what it is. We all was overtaken in a fault, right? It say, brethren, if a man be overtaken in a fault, ye which are spiritual, restore such an one in a spirit of meekness, considering thyself, lest thou also be tempted. We always overtaken. Then the Lord gave you that high calling, like I tell you in Philippians 3, right? And you came out of that. So the Lord give you the high calling. Your lot is eat this roll and feed the sheep with sound doctrine. This is 2 Corinthians 13 and 5. And I just read Ecclesiastes 27 and 3. It say, unless a man hold himself diligently in the fear of the Lord, his house shall soon be overthrown, right? This is 2 Corinthians 13 and 5. Examine yourself Examine yourself whether ye be in the faith. Prove your own selves. How do you do that? You're working out your own salvation with fear and trembling. So when you get around brothers, when you become a spiritual brick to the spiritual temple, you know how you adding to the temple spiritually. Examine yourself whether you be in the faith. Prove your own selves. Know ye not your own selves how that Yahweh Mashiach is in you, except you be reprobates. Right? This is about a building, man. This is not vainglory. This ain't for you. It's not just you. As the saying in the world is, there is no I in team, right? So examine yourself. This is let me go here first. This is Haggai 1 and 2. This lesson is based off this chapter. This is Haggai chapter 1, verse 2. It reads, Thus speak of Yahweh of hosts, saying, This people say, what people? Two-thirds of Jake. The time has not come. The time that the Lord's house should be built. Right? The tabernacle of David. Amos 9:11. Then came the word of Yahweh by Haggai the prophet, saying, Is it time for you, O ye, to dwell in your seared houses, and this house lie waste? Now the house of the Lord is going to be built regardless, right? It's going to be built regardless. The Lord gave you a high calling. Hey, add to the house, man. It's still things need to be done, right? And when you building a house, if you got the funds to build a house from ground up, the foundation got to get laid, right? You gotta have the money for the laid concrete, the foundation, right? You gotta have a amount of wood, right? There's windows on the house, right? The house need insulation, right? Electricity gotta get ran through the house, right? The roof, all that, depending on how you want it. You want a chimney, right? It gotta get decked out. So it say, is it time for you, O ye, to dwell in your sealed houses, and his and this house lie waste? Now therefore, thus saith Yahweh of hosts, consider your ways. What Jake is chasing, the Lord is removing it. He tell you in Isaiah 3 and 1 that he's taking away the stay and the staff, right? The whole stay of bread and the whole stay of water. In Hosea 4 and verse 3, the Lord said he's taking away two-thirds of Jake, along with the beasts of the field, right? The fowls of heaven, and the fishes of the sea. So think about that. The Lord is taking away all the comfort food, right? Your comfort food, your comfort living, everything. The Lord is taking this away. So what's going to be left? The scriptures say we have been living as pilgrims ever since the split of Solomon, man. We have we have never dwelt in a certain dwelling place. We have always been pilgrims since the time of Solomon. We've been running around the earth, scattered, running around in the midst of these heathens, man. We haven't had a certain dwelling place since the time of Solomon, man. Even for 1,000 years in the Byzantine Empire, or the Dark Ages, or the time of the Moors, or the Middle Ages, or however the Esau Edom call it, we haven't had a certain dwelling place, man. We haven't been comfortable since the time of Solomon. That was the only time we was comfortable. During the time of Solomon, you got the time we first went into the land, into the promised land with Joshua and Caleb, man. So we have been pilgrims on the earth, as the scriptures say, most of our lifetime during the time of, after the split, man. Right? So it say Haggai 1 and 5. Now therefore, and people don't realize Jake so brainwashed and bugged out and full of Stockholm syndrome, they don't realize that they don't have nothing. When you look at these bug out, sellout niggas, these Michael Jordans and Oprah Winfrey's and these Chris Tuckers and Chris Rocks and Will Smith, them niggas don't got nothing, man. They don't have anything, man. Don't be fooled. They don't got nothing, man. Them niggas done bent over and gave up the box for some FRNs, man. Them niggas just sold out. It said, now therefore, thus saith Yahweh of hosts, consider your ways. Ye have sown much and bring in little. Even Future said, it's a different check, but we all living from check to check. Our check, he said, their checks over there in Hollywood just a little bigger, but we all living from check to check. You have so much and bring in little. You eat, but you have not enough. Even though I did a lesson a couple years ago on Taraji P. Henson and Bow Wow. They said the same thing. They living from check to check, man. The check just a little bigger. That's all. You have so much and bring in little. You eat, but you have not enough. You drink, but you are not filled with drink. Ye clothe you, but there is none warm. And he that earneth wages to put it into a bag with holes. Soon you get your money, it's gone. Bills. I don't care if you got a savings. Guess what? You're gonna run through it eventually. And if you don't run through it, guess what's gonna happen? Let's say you have 100,000 in the bank, or 50 grand, or 30, or 20 grand, or 5 grand. What happens when they mandatory the MOTB? How you gonna get that 5 grand, or them 50, or that 100 grand? You're gonna have to take the MOTB, right? Otherwise, you're gonna be a pilgrim. It say, and he that earneth wages to put into a bag of holes. And 2/3 of Jake don't think about, what if you do got money? What happens when they make the MOTB mandatory? How will you get your funds? If you don't have your Habashim Abashah, you're gonna sell out, man. Thus saith Yahweh of hosts, consider your ways. This is what the Lord say. Go up to the mountain and bring wood. It's like you buying wood to build your house from the ground up, right? Go up to the mountain and bring wood and build a house, and I will take pleasure in it, and I will be glorified, saith Yahweh. Ye look for much, and lo, it came too little. And when you brought it home, I did blow upon it. The Lord said he blow on everything that you doing if you doing it in wickedness. Just because you think these guys are prospering, these Denzel Washingtons. Listen, man, them niggas sold out, man. And the Lord gonna judge them. You see what happened to Kobe? We talk about this all the time. How the Lord jumped over Jordan with his, that's a wicked nigga right there. He jumped over Jordan and got Kobe. Jordan have his whole staff, his security, his whole staff. They call him Yahweh, man. That's wicked in itself. But guess what? Kobe was wicked too, calling himself the Mamba. That nigga was in heavy witchcraft. All of them is. But the Lord jumped over Jordan and he got Kobe first, man. Because Jordan got a whole different judgment. The Lord got something special for that nigga there, man. So listen, Haggai 1:9, ye look for much, and lo, it came too little. And when ye brought it home, I did blow upon it. Why, saith the Lord of hosts? This will ask, like, why would the Lord blow on what I'm bringing, like I'm doing it? Nah. And I say this all the time. You think you see some guy that go to work all week, right? Take care of his family, make sure his kids got, he provide for his family. All he do is go to work through the week. The wife go to work, right? The weekends, they go out to eat. They go to the beach, take the kids somewhere to have a good time. They go to church on Sunday. You think the Lord care about that nigga? The Lord don't care about them type of people, man. Don't be fooled, man. The Lord don't care about them type of people, man. That nigga ain't in the truth. But guess what? That's what these type of women look for. I'm looking for me a God-fearing man. But when you tell them you eat pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster, and you tell them that the real power of the Bible, he don't deal with that. Now you some wicked nigga. But you got these females always talk about, I'm looking for me a God-fearing man. If you go to these different sites, these dating sites, they always tell me I'm looking for a God-fearing man. But when you tell they demon asses, nah, they ain't looking for a God-fearing man. They looking for some weak, emotional, effeminate nigga. That's what they looking for. It's and all this is going to get you destroyed, man. You look for much, and lo, it came too little. And when you brought it home, I did blow upon it. Why? Saith Yahweh host. Because of my house that is waste, and ye run every man unto his own house. Everybody is chasing after their own ill-gotten gains, man. Because there was no profit in building the house of the Lord in truth and sincerity, man. Ain't no profit in this. Well, it is profit. It tell you in Isaiah 33 and 6 that wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, not gold and silver, not Bitcoin. Okay? Verse 10. Therefore, the heaven over you is stayed from dew, and the earth is stayed from her fruit. Meaning we ain't gonna prosper no matter what you think you got, how far you think you done got ahead, you ain't gonna prosper here. This is Matthew 24 and 37. It reads, but as the days of Noah were, so shall also the son, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. For as in the days that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying, and giving in marriage until the day that Noah entered into the ark, and knew not until the flood came and it took them all away. You have to picture during that time. You see this guy building this boat, right? The sun out of Salakia is yeah, I'm gonna come back with a part two. Okay, no, it's good. All right, so this is all right. I want to make sure it's still working. This is Luke chapter 17 and 26. It reads, as it was in the days of Noah, so shall it be also in the days of the Son of Man. They did eat, they drank, they married wives, they were given in marriage until the day that Noah entered into the ark. Salakia. And the flood came and destroyed them all, right? It reads, likewise also, as it was in the days of Lot, they did eat, they drank, they bought, they sold, they planted, they builded. But the same day that Lot went out of Sodom, it rained fire and brimstone from heaven and destroyed them all. Even thus shall it be in the day when the Son of Man is revealed. Now, select you for that. The internet is jumping. I don't know what's going on. But in Haggai 1, right? This is what he said. The Lord said here in Haggai 1 in verse 4. Is it time for you, O ye, to dwell in your sealed houses, and this house lie waste? Right? When you go to 2 Kings chapter 5, this is what Elisha asks this guy, um, what's this guy name? Naaman, right? Not Naaman, Salakia. Gehazi. So Gehazi was Elisha understudy guy, right? So when this guy came and Elisha healed this guy Naaman, right? Naaman tried to give Elisha some gifts for healing him. But Elisha said, that was from Yahweh Shema Shah, that wasn't from me, right? So I can't take your gifts, right? So I'm read right here, 2 Kings 5 and 23. And Naaman said, be content, take 2 talents, and he urged him, and bound 2 talents of silver in 2 bags, and two changes of garments, right? This is what the guy Naaman tried to give Elisha for healing him of his leprosy. But Elisha told him, no, I'm good. The Lord healed you, right? It wasn't me. So Elisha's servant Gehazi went behind his back to go and catch the guy after Elisha went into the house. These stories you got to picture in your mind, man. So after Elisha went into the house, Gehazi like, man, my master crazy. I'm finna go get this, right? These 2 talents and these 2 changeable garments, right? So when Elisha went in the house, Gehazi went to go chase the guy down, and he said, listen, my master do want those 2 talents and those garments that you was finna give him for healing you of your leprosy, which he was lying. This is what Elisha said. 2 Kings 5 and 26. And he said unto him, went not my spirit, went not my heart with thee, meaning his spirit. And that's what we try to tell you. You think you can play a man of the Lord? You think the Lord ain't gonna reveal these things to a real man of the Lord? It's gonna be revealed on both sides, dealing with men and women. You got brothers that are trying to fake you, trying to give you the 52 fake out. You got women trying to give you the fake out. Listen, man, if you're dealing with a real man of Yahweh Shema Shah, it's going to be revealed to him, man. So this is what Elisha say. And he said unto him, went not my heart with thee when the man turned again from his chariot to meet thee? Now I just said this in Haggai 1 and 4. The Lord said, is it time for you to dwell in your seer houses and his house lie waste? So this 2 Kings 5 and 26. This is when Elisha asks Gehazi, is it a time to receive money and to receive garments and olive yards and vineyards and sheep and oxen and men servants and maiden servants? What is men servants and maiden servants? That sounds like slavery to me. What is olive yards and vineyards? That sound like that's groves of growing grapes to make wine. What is it say? And sheep and oxen. It is not time for us to have cattle, to have land. We are pilgrims on the earth, but this is what Jay chasing after, man. So he said, is it time to receive money and to receive garments and olive yards and vineyards and sheep and oxen and men servants and maiden servants? Jake, mine, is chasing the bag. This is not the time for that, man. So this is First Peter chapter 5 and verse 6. It reads, humble yourself, therefore, under the mighty hand of God, that he may exalt you in due time. Casting off, it say casting all your care upon him, for he careth for you. This is First Corinthians 7, right? Start here at 29. It say casting all your cares upon the Lord, man. 2/3, the hopeful elect is not warned about prospering in a kingdom that's being destroyed, man. This place is falling, man. It's First Corinthians 7:29. But this I say, brethren, the time is short. It remaineth that both they that have wives be as though they have none. I'm not saying you're going to ignore them. The Lord is saying focus on the work. And if you got a wife that's dealing with you in sincerity and truth, she's not going nowhere. It say, and they that weep as though they weep not, and they that rejoice as though they rejoice not. Because it said what? a righteous man doeth scarcely smile a little. It say, and they that rejoice as though they rejoice not, and they that buy as though they possess not, and they that use this world as not abusing it, for the fashion of this world passeth away. That's why I tell you in Luke 17, remember Lot's wife. Everything that Lot had gained, Lot had riches. Him and Abraham split up the land and the cattle, man. Okay? So Lot had plenty, man. So what his wife have accumulated over time was nice dresses, jewelry, right? When you accumulate these things over time, here Jake got a closet full of Jordans and Air Max 95s and 97s and different shoes, and Jordan got the old Penny Hardaways and the old Patrick Ewings and the old Bo Jacksons, right? And Jake got the Dion, the old Dion sandals, right? So you done accumulate all these things. You ain't trying to let that stuff. You ain't trying to leave this stuff. You got jewelry and throwback jerseys. I'm talking about Jake, men. You know how men is. So imagine how women is. Women that got these different type of dresses and shoes. Nobody want to leave this stuff behind. You to accumulate all this stuff. You done spent your hard-earned money to get a $300 pair of shoes. And listen, man, that's what the Lord say. Remember Lot's wife, because she didn't want to leave none of the things that she had accumulated over time because they had money, man. She accumulated a lot of things. And here in Babylon the Great, you get a lot of things, man. You get to deck your house out or your apartment, however, right? With the nice furniture, and you got all the jewelry and the clothes. Women got the different hats, right? You don't want to leave that stuff behind. The Lord say we got to be ready to, at a drop of a dime, let that stuff go. And this is going to cause two-thirds of our people to look back, man, because they don't want to leave these things. The Lord say we got to be ready. This is 2nd Ezra 16 and 40. It reads, "O my people, hear my word, make you ready to thy battle." This battle that's coming, it's called Jacob's trouble, not Esau's trouble. It's called Jacob's trouble. O my people, hear my word, make you ready to thy battle, and in those evils be even as pilgrims upon the earth. We already been pilgrims. It's just two-thirds of Jake just done fell into that slum of accumulating and they don't want to leave this stuff, man. We talk about this all the time, man. A brother ain't gonna have nothing if you have that. The same backpack that brothers wear to take the camp, and brother got books in that back in them backpacks, man. It's gonna be that same backpack that brothers gonna have on the move. If you have that, ain't gonna be no what is like ain't gonna be no changeable suits of apparel, right? Like you say in Isaiah 3, the Lord said He gonna take away from the women they changeable suits of apparel. Ain't gonna be no changing drawers, no changing socks. In Jacob's trouble, ain't gonna be none of that, man. Ain't gonna be none of that. We gonna be pilgrims on the earth, man. Okay? Ain't gonna be, you ain't gonna have no bars of soap with you, man. Because you're gonna say, oh, the scriptures say a woman shall be stink. So you're gonna try to make sure you keep bars of soap lingering around somewhere. Listen, man, ain't gonna be none of that, man. It's a 2nd Ezra 16 and 40. Oh my people, hear my word, make you ready to thy battle, and in those evils be even as pilgrims upon the earth. We already pilgrims now, man. We don't have no certain dwelling place. And at any moment of time, man, the Lord can take all this from you, whatever you got, man, whatever little bit that you do have. It reads, "He that selleth, let him be as he that fleeth away." You see, he that selleth, let him be as he that fleeth away, and he that buyeth as one that will lose. You got to have your mindset that all this stuff is going to be gone, man. And it is. The Lord's taking it. He's slowly showing us, the hopeful elect, these things are being destroyed, man. He's taking it away. Your comfort food, your comfort drinks, your comfort everything is being taken away, man. It's a he that occupy merchandise as he that have no profit by it. This is the mindset we got to be in right now, man. Not down the road, right now. This is the Lord um building us up right now for these things. It's a and he that buyeth as he that shall not dwell therein. Though you got an apartment or a nice house, be ready to say, man, it wasn't meant. It reads, he that soweth as if he should not reap. So also he that planted the vineyard as he that shall not gather the grapes. You understand what that means? You done planted a vineyard so you can make some. You know what Jake say? Well, I got me a garden, right? I got me a nice garden. If your garden is not in a greenhouse, it chemtrails getting sprayed on it. So you ain't eating no organic food, but you got a lot of Jakes like, yeah, I got me a little garden I'm growing, right? So let's say you got a nice garden. Let's say the Lord give you the opportunity to grow. Guess what? It's gonna come a day when you have to leave that garden. Then what? What you gonna try to pluck everything off and put it into a backpack and take it with you? Ain't gonna be no time for that, man. It's a 2 16 and 43. He that soweth as if he should not reap. So also he that planted the vineyard as he that should not gather the grapes. They that marry as they that shall get no children, and they that marry not as the widowers, and therefore they that labor in vain. Okay, so let's stop. Okay, so Salakia, out of check. Okay, so what was I finna get? This is Psalms 27 and 5, right? Because the Lord's house is a covering for the hopeful elect. Now I tell you in John 10:28 that Yahweh said the elect is going to be in his hands, right? And in verse 29 it says, Yahweh and the elect is in Yahweh's hands, right? Well, the house of the Lord is a covering for the hopeful elect. This is Psalms 27 and 5. It reads, for in the time of trouble, he shall hide me in his pavilion, right? A pavilion is a covering, right? In the secret of his tabernacle shall he hide me. In the secret of his tabernacle shall he hide me. He shall set me up upon a rock, right? So that's the covering for the hopeful elect, which is the house of the Lord, man. Now, let's get this. This is First Timothy. So like Second Timothy, chapter 2 and 20. It reads, but in a great house there are not only vessels of gold and of silver, but also of wood and of earth, and some to honor and some to dishonor. Again, it say, 2 Timothy 2 and 20, but in a great house there are not only vessels of gold and of silver, but also of wood and of earth, and some to honor and some to dishonor, right? If a man therefore purge himself from these, he shall be a vessel unto honor, sanctified and meet for the master's use and prepared unto every good work, man. So in your temple, in your spirit, in your house, what should you be occupied on? What should you be doing? What should you be thinking about? This is about the kingdom of the Lord, man. This is about the tabernacle of David that's being built. Because 2/3, this is where their mind at. This is Amos 6 and 3, it reads. It said, Ye that put far away the evil day and cause the seat of violence to come near, that lie upon beds of ivory and stretch themselves upon their couches. And I remember Elder Yashua had said this. A lot of you Jays don't even got beds of ivory. You can't even afford it. But it say, this is just represent Jake living good, right? Living a best life. Amos 6 and 4, it say, that lie upon beds of ivory and stretch themselves upon their couches and eat the lambs out of the flock and the calves out of the stall and the calves out of the midst of the stall, that chant to the sound of the vow and invent to themselves instruments of music like David, right? You living good, you eating good, you listen to good music, you drinking good, that drink wine in bowls and anoint themselves with the chief ointments. You got the best that life can offer, right? As Esau told you. But they are not grieved for the affliction of Joseph, which is the northern kingdom, right? A lot of Jakes say all 12 tribes is black. But what about the northern kingdom? It's coming over here in caravans from Puerto Rico, from Mexico, from Dominican Republic. Those are Israelites, man. But 2/3 of Jake is not grieved for the affliction of Joseph. You see what's going on with these, which is it's the Lord, but the point is they Xing out the other tribes, man. Everybody is for their self, man. And same thing go for the northern kingdom. 2/3 of them don't care. They don't because nobody is focused on building the house of the Lord. And that's why calamities, atrocities. Because remember I read, it tell you in Amos 6, it say they lie upon beds of ivory and stretch themselves upon their couches, meaning they chilling, living good, right? Isaiah 28 and 20. For the bed is shorter than that a man can stretch himself on it, and the covering, meaning your covers, narrower than that he can wrap himself in it. Meaning, this is not the time to be comfortable. And you ain't gonna be comfortable. And though we seem to see like these Jay-Z's and Beyonce's and Denzel Washingtons and Will Smiths and all these sellouts that made the Hollywood, because we see them on TV and we think they live in the best life possible. Guess what, man? They gotta work just like you do. They gotta work just like you do. The moment Esau tell them we need you to go do this and that, they're doing the same thing. They check just a little bigger. And guess what? They done sold out, man. And they done worse things in their life than you can ever imagine, man. Denzel and Jeezy and Lil Wayne then did some they done did some horrible things in their life that you can't even imagine, man. We can only imagine the things they done, man. But they sold out. First off, they got to bend over and give up that box, both man and woman, to get that bad. It said, for the bed is shorter than that a man can stretch himself on it, and the covering narrower than that he can wrap himself in it. Meaning there is no, that you ain't going to be comfortable here. That's what the Lord's saying. You ain't going to be comfortable. This is what Job said. This is Job 7 and 13. Love to read this. Now, this is the hopeful elect. When I say my bed shall comfort me, my couch shall ease my complaint. I just read this Amos 6 and 3, right? Verse 4 through 7. This is that's the 2/3 that stretch themselves upon the beds of ivory, right? That lie upon beds of ivory, that stretch themselves upon their couches, right? They're eating the best meats, drinking the best wines, they got the best ointments, right? Meaning they got money to go to the doctor whenever they will. When we can't do that, right? That's 2/3 of Jake, following the ways of Esau. So they think they in the best case possible, right? That's that normative bias spirit. When I say my bed shall comfort me, my couch shall ease my complaint, the little bit that we got, then thou scarest me with dreams and terrify me through visions. What visions? Listen, I was just talking to the rib about this, man. About visions. The Lord is giving the hopeful elect visions. Everybody don't got these visions. Proverbs 28:19 say, where there is no vision, the people perish. So when people can't see the prophecies that you see, don't try to break your neck trying to explain it to them because the Lord didn't give it to them. If they don't come to you and say, I was watching the news and they're talking about how Putin saying North America gonna be destroyed with the Satan too. If they don't come to you and say, I saw that it's a famine going on. You know what's going on with this? If they don't come and ask you these type of, hey, leave them alone, man. Leave them alone. It's a then that scares me with dreams and terrify me through visions. We see the vision of wars and rumors of wars. We see the visions, the tokens of famine and pestilence. We see these visions of the MOTB. See, that's what I say. That's why Job said, when I say my bed shall comfort me, my couch shall ease my complaint, then thou scares me with dreams and terrify me through visions, so that my soul chooseth strangling. What does that mean? And death rather than my life. So that my soul chooses strangling and death rather than my life. Yahweh shall say what? He that loseth his life shall find it, but he that seeketh his life shall lose it. So Job says, so that my soul chooses strangling, death, and death rather than my life. That's the hopeful elect. We're ready to get out of here, even if it comes to death. You tell you that in Psalm 1:16 and 15, precious in the sight of the Lord is the death of his saints. That spiritually, it could be physically. But in Psalm 118, it says this, because Paul mentioned it. Rather to go to the spiritual realm or stay here on earth, which one is better? He said to go to depart and be with Yahweh Shema Shah is far better. It's better. But to be here on earth to do the works is needful. Because it tell you in 2 Ezra 13 that them that are left behind are more blessed than they that be dead, man. You want to be here to see these things play out. Matthew 13 and 16. This Psalms 118 and 17 it reads, I shall not die, but live and declare the works of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua. The Lord have chastened me sore, but he have not given me over unto death. You see, we want to be here to go through these trials and tribulations, man. That's a part of the Lord's building, building the Lord's house, the hopeful elect, man. We ain't want about what's going on in the world. We want about what's going on in building of the Lord's house, man, and how you building their own. So I just want to make some points on that, man, because Jake is focused. Let's read this. This is First Peter 4:1. It reads, "For as much then as Hamashiach suffered for us in the flesh," it say for us. The Lord suffered for us in the flesh, right? It say, "Arm yourselves likewise with the same mind, for he that hath suffered in the flesh hath ceased from sin, that he no longer should live the rest of his time in the flesh to the lust of men, but to the will of Yahweh Shema Shai. For the time past of our life may suffice us to have what? The will of the Gentiles when we walk in lasciviousness, lust, excess of wine, revelings, banquetings, and abominable idolatries, wherein they think it strange, who? Your family members, 2/3, wherein they think it strange that ye run not with them to the same excess of riot, speaking evil of you. Why? Because now you ain't following them in their wickedness. The Lord said, this is Luke 22 and 28. We ain't following the world no more, man. We ain't doing what the world do. We're doing what the Lord say. This is Luke 22 and 28. Ye are they which have continued with me in my temptations. What's the Lord's temptations? I just read in 1 Peter 4:1. It's the sufferings of Yahweh Shai, man. Ye are they Luke 22 and 28. Ye are they which have continued with me in my temptations, and I appoint unto you a kingdom, as my Father have appointed unto me, that ye may eat and drink at my table in my kingdom, and sit on thrones, talking to the men of Israel, the hopeful elect, judging the 12 tribes of Israel. The hopeful elect, the men of Israel, we are fighting for a crown. The kingdom is going to be beautiful, right? You're going to have the kingdom going to be full of men and women. The Lord is looking for 144,000 men to be governors, judges. It'll tell you in Isaiah 126. The Lord said he's going to restore the judges as at the first. Most of our people don't understand what's going on, man. The unnumbered multitude that gets saved is going to be men, women, and children, right? It's going to be beautiful in the kingdom. I'm fighting for a crown. I don't want to just be a regular Jake walking in the kingdom, having a nice house, a mansion with land and cattle, right? With kids and wives. I want a crown. I'm fighting for a crown. There's a difference, man. There's a difference. I'm fighting for a crown. And as we always say, you have 12,000. You have 1 in 12,000 chances. Whatever tribe you from, you have 1 in 12,000 chances to be from the tribe of Judah. I'm talking about these men that get crowned by Yahushua personally. I ain't talking about the unknown multitude that get salvation. I'm talking about the crown. You got 1 in 12,000 chances to be from Judah, Ephraim, Levi, Benjamin, Gad, Reuben. You got 1 in 12,000 chances to be from Manasseh. Okay? 1 in 12,000 chances. Those numbers are slim. 12,000 is not a lot. So you got 1 in 12,000 chances to be from the tribe of Judah or one of these 12 tribes. I'm talking about that gets crowned from the Messiah. They get to rule and sit with Yahushua in council, in judgment. I'm not talking about the unknown multitude dealing with the men. I'm talking about getting a crown. There's a difference. We fighting over here for a crown, man, to be crowned. We trying to sit with Yahushua. The Lord say that ye may eat and drink at my table in my kingdom. When you read in Matthew 27, no, Matthew 26, let's read it. Yahushua said he ain't going to drink nothing until the elect is with him in the kingdom, man. Let's read it. This is Matthew 26. And I'm going to read 26. It reads, and as they were eating, Yahushua took bread and blessed it and brake it and gave it to the disciples and said, take, eat this. He said, take, eat, this is my body. And he took the cup and gave thanks and gave it to them, saying, drink ye all of it, for this is my blood of the New Testament, which is shed for many for the remission of sins. Listen, verse 29. But I say unto you, I will not drink henceforth of this fruit of the vine until the day when I drink it new with you in my Father's kingdom, man. Just read it here in Luke. I just read it. Yahweh say he ain't gonna drink no wine until the elect is with him. He was talking to the disciples right here, man. Okay? Luke 22 and 28. Ye are they which have continued with me in my temptations, and I appoint unto you a kingdom, as my Father have appointed unto me, that ye may eat and drink at my table in my kingdom, and sit on throne judging the 12 tribes of Israel. Yahweh shall say he ain't drinking nothing until the 12 apostles and the rest of the elect, I'm talking about the 144, is sitting with him in the kingdom, man. There's a difference between the 144 and one of the men of the unknown multitude. There's a difference, man. We are fighting. We are fighting, man. Our body is the Lord's temple, man. That's why I said 2 Peter 3 in holy conversation, man. Your conduct. What should you be doing? We see the prophecies unfolding, man. I got another lesson coming, Lord willing. I know I ain't gonna be able to do it today because it's getting late. Lord willing, when I leave the plantation in the morning, Lord willing, Lord willing. Because these devils going back in on the lesson gonna be dealing with BRICS nations. Because hey, Iran, China, and Russia doing some very big things, man. It's really popping off. So, Lord was edifying. Gotta give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakah Kodash. The honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who well, who teach well, whether apostles and elders of all of Israel really consider not. In a sincere salutation to all that I can push this truth